This tutorial describes how to analyze only part of a factorial design of experiments. The purpose of this procedure is if you have certain combinations that would be automatically set up by a Minitab factorial design of experiments process, but those particular combinations are in your experiment invalid or undesirable for some reason. So this is how to remove some of them and still be able to analyze your factorial design of experiments. So step one, you're going to create and analyze your factorial design of experiments per normal procedure. And I do have a separate video on this. So you've already set up your factorial design of experiments, the full thing, including the rows that you don't want. So now in order to cut down or cut out the number of unwanted rows, you're going to take that pre-created factorial design and copy all of it, including the Minitab stuff to the left. So make sure that you're capturing all the Minitab stuff to the left, and you're also capturing all of your factors. And then copy those cells, paste them into Excel. So we paste them into Excel, and then we're going to filter on the top row. So we filter on the top row. Now we can filter out whatever the unwanted, to make sure that we can see whatever the unwanted combinations were, and we can filter out here. I'm just going to do this as a notional example. So I'm just going to filter out a random number of runs, but we'll use the filtering to then be able to delete numbers of combinations, use the sorting and filtering so that you can pick out easily the combinations that you want to delete. So let's say these are the combinations that we want to delete. We delete those from Excel. And now we copy the entire unfilter to make sure that we're still getting the hidden rows. So we can unfilter the whole thing, or we can do select all to unfilter. So we can make sure we have all the rows being copied back to Minitab. Now we're going to copy this back to Minitab. And in Minitab, we're going to create a fresh worksheet. You can do that by the plus or from up on the menus at the top. So now we have a fresh blank worksheet. We're going to paste in our cells. And now we're going to go in and do stat DOE. And notice that analyze factorial design is available. Now you'll notice that there's Minitab. You haven't created this design in Minitab, so it doesn't have the stuff automatically that it needs. So you're going to click the S button, and now we're going to pick the design factors. So cashiers and cooks in this case are the factors. Now we need to tell it what the low-high values are. Notice that it automatically puts these in for you. So we're just verifying that and making sure that the data is in uncoded units. Okay, now we can look at the particular designs. Again, just pick the default and click the OK button. Now we go to the normal analyze factorial design, and this has all the same options that we would have if we ran it from something that Minitab had created itself. In this case, I neglected to copy over the response column. So that's why I'm not seeing anything I can use as my responses. Now notice also that Minitab has created the blocks that the parts that I copied over before. It doesn't really know what to do with them. So it's created a separate number of columns here. Notice that I don't have any response columns. If I want to actually analyze the factorial design, I would have to go get the response data that I neglected to copy over. So just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to copy over the response data. Again, I should have copied this over in the first place. Now I'm going to wind up with, since I've deleted some of the data, and we can see here that I've deleted some of the data, that has to be deleted. Otherwise, it's not going to get happy about trying to analyze this factorial design. Now I can go back and do DOE factorial analyze factorial design, and now I have a response variable that I can use. And I see then I have the normal things I would see from my factorial design, including significant factors, Pareto chart, my regression equation, and so forth.